Hey y'all,
What's up, family?
welcome back to another episode of You Can't Make This Up.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, this one is probably going to be not everybody's favorite because I think there's a controversy around being friends in marriage, and I think a lot of people have it misconstrued as
Very.
far as what we mean by being friends in marriage. And we, for our definition, like just us as husband and wife, our definition of being friends in marriage is literally being friends. Just like your bestie that you go and have brunch with, like really your friend, like somebody that, ain't no switching up type thing. And I think that a lot of times, when you try to conceptualize of friendship in marriage, people don't think about the legitimacy of that friendship. Like, what do you mean by friends?
Yeah.
Friendship. Like,
And I see a lot of people trying to force it. Like,
Right.
It shouldn't be that unnatural.
Right. Like, oh, I married my best friend, and y'all can't even sit and have a hard conversation. That's not your best friend. That's your husband. There's a difference. And I think that when you are able to have hard conversations in your marriage, that's because you've established a friendship. That's because you've established an understanding that I'm coming to you from someone who cares.
Right.
I'm coming to you from someone who sees you and knows your full potential and knows what you're capable of. However, in this moment, you're choosing to be a doo-doo head.
Right.
And I'm calling you out on it.
Right.
Like, I'm letting you know, and I'm not coming to you, as your husband or your wife. I'm just coming to you friend to friend. Like, if I saw you at a bar and, you had a booger in your nose, or, your skirt was tucked into your underwear, or your fly was undone. Like, I'm talking to you from that level.
Yep.
And I think once you add feelings into relationships, it kind of changes the character and dynamic of that relationship.
Very much.
So, yeah. And I get it, because I know that, we're only a minute in. I know that there are going to be people in the comments and having something to say like, well, y'all have an advantage. Y'all met in high school. We did. So let's just go ahead and get that out the way. Yes, we did meet in high school. We did get to, establish our friendship from immaturity to maturity. And I think that that is one of our great advantages.
Yeah, that's our superpower for sure.
It is. And
Because that chemistry we can always fall back on.
Right.
And that's the whole point of this conversation, is for you guys to understand that you need to create another level for your marriage to stand on.
Right.
Like, people want to stand on business, no, stand on your friendship.
Right.
Because there are going to be days where you look at your partner and you like, I really don't rock with the married person.
Right.
Like with the husband, with the wife. I
Right.
just want a friend today, somebody to just kick it with. Not somebody
Yeah.
that I got to feel obligated to like really show up for. It's just, you always going to have that feeling because that's
Yeah.
your spouse, that's your partner, sure. But you got to be able to, break the code one time. And just be
Right.
like, hey, look, this is friend to friend level.
Right.
Tell me about this. What do you think about this topic?
Right.
Or how do you think I should go about this? Not from a wife standpoint, but
Right.
like, nah, do I look fat in this? Like, you can tell me.
And I think that's what makes our friendship cool, because I don't think a lot of the girls that you dated or talked to in the past could handle your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because they didn't know you. And it was always so difficult when, they would ask me like, Brittany, how do you get through to him? How do you? And I'm like, the problem with y'all is, and we talked about this yesterday, is you're trying to go into a relationship with this man thinking about yourself.
Right.
When you marry or want to be involved with Dorian, you have to understand that this particular person, yes, he is a selfless person, but before he gets to selfless at the age that, you were dating, you were very selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't because, I don't believe that it was because you were incapable of being selfless at those teenage years. I think you were selfish because you only had to worry about yourself. Like, nobody proved that they were stress outable. Like, they were, like, there's nothing that you do that makes me feel like, oh, I have to, jump and da-da-da-da-da. I think it was just more so, them just wanting somebody to kick it with. And
Yeah.
you fit the aesthetic as far as, oh, you're tall, you got something going for yourself, like you're well-spoken. So you were checking off their little check boxes, but they weren't, there was like one check box that they couldn't check, and it was, does he have a heart? Yes, but in order for you to get to it, there are some things that you have to understand. And once they reach that point of, hey, Brittany, I need advice. How do I make him love me the way that he loves you? And I was like, that's the problem. You're going into it with you as the benefactor. Like,
Right.
you're trying to be the beneficiary of his love, and that's not how it works. You have to show him that you're interested in him. This is like you're the cat and he's the mouse, you know? And it's not to say that you were constantly the one that had to be chased. But in high school, you were definitely the guy that was like, no, I know what I want in life. I know how I want my life to go. And I'm not going to be with somebody or be with, you know, a girl that will eventually be my wife that doesn't understand that it's going to get ghetto, you know, because I am an artist. At the end of the day, I am somebody who wants to create my own future. I don't want it created for me. And if you don't have that same, you know, resilient mindset, this isn't going to work.
Right.
So it was like, you kind of have to prove yourself as you can handle the life that I said that I wanted since I was a little boy. So if you can't align with that, then we can't be anything. We can't move forward because you're not even understanding that what's about to transpire is like a lot.
Right.
And you're already thinking about, you know, the end point, like the marriage and the kids, and he's not even there yet.
Yeah, I
At
had
all.
no problem sharing my time. Sure,
Yeah.
I didn't mind having a friend that was a girl.
Yeah.
Essentially. So it was like I just needed a supporter at that time. And
Yeah.
yes, like when I needed to go relax my mind and take my mind off of the work that I was putting in, then yeah, okay, we can kick it. I'll give you my time. But you at that moment, yeah, I did need more support than
Right.
a relation.
Right. And I don't think that they were understanding that. And that goes into that. Like, you have to be friends first. You need to understand your partner's love language when there's no pressure. Because when you add a title of fiance, girlfriend, wife, husband, when you start adding titles to things, it complicates the character of your relationship because now your heart getting broken is different. When you have a friendship breakup, you know, that friendship breakup is like, okay, well, I just have the residue and the reminder of the memory of that friend. But you're not heartbroken to the point where, you know, you experience your first friendship heartbreak and you never go get a friend again.
Yeah.
No. But if you get your heart broken by an intimate partner, you're less likely to be excited to go out and find another intimate partner because now you have scars. Now you have baggage. Now you have lessons that you've learned because you were vulnerable with somebody, whether that was sexually, whether that was sharing your love, you know, letting them know how you truly felt about them deep down inside. Like when you get to that point and you cross the barrier over this is strictly platonic to now we're going under the sheets, that complicates things because now your heart is involved. Now your heart is fragile. Now your heart is in a vulnerable state. And when somebody comes and takes advantage of that vulnerability and with your emotions tied to it, the scar that is left is not so easy to just pretend like it's not there.
Right.
Like,
it feels like you just robbed me.
Yes.
Like I shared pain with you.
Yes.
And you just took it for granted. Like,
Yes.
you know, like you can just replace it. That's not how
Yeah.
this works.
And I just think that, you know, people like to say like, no, friendship breakups hurt the worst. Yeah, they don't, because you can go get another friend, you know, and when those friendship breakups happen that cause you not to want to go get friends, okay, I understand, you know, like I get it. Like I had a friendship breakup a year or so ago and I still haven't made myself available to have friends. Like I shut it down before anybody gets too excited. I'm like, no, we can't be friends. I'm not in the department of wanting friends right now. I'm still healing from, you know, one of my longest friendships really crashing and burning. And it was a very slow burn because I knew from day one that it was a, you know, not a good friendship. Like it wasn't a reciprocal friendship, but I just wanted to have a friend so bad that I held on to it, seeing all the red flags, everyone around me, especially Bae, telling me about the red flags. I was like, no. And from then, I really haven't pursued friends. And even having a newer friendship, it was the same friendship burn. So for that aspect, yes, I do understand that friendship breakups can hurt. But child, it ain't nothing like getting your heart broken by somebody that you really liked or really loved. Oh,
No, that's facts.
that hurts.
That's facts.
That one hurts. I think that was the first and only time that you broke up with me in college. That one hurt. That was like a double whammy of a breakup because we were friends still and we just had gotten together. Like that was our first time getting in a relationship. And it was like, oh, he's telling me he don't want to be around me no more. Oh no. Like, no, we just spent 4 years together. You're not about to tell me you don't want to be my friend. Like, because I didn't hear you didn't want to be my boyfriend. I heard not right now, we will get back together, but I have to get this out my system before I fully commit to you. And I don't think that it's fair, which I got that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, so what you're telling me is that we can't hang out no more? That's what I heard. All I heard was, we can't hang out no more because you're my friend. Like, you want me to stay around these weird kids without you? Oh, no.
I friends with benefits, but I needed to take that title off because it was that pressure that was associated. I'm like, nah, because when I do commit, I want you to understand that, you know, I'm fully coming into this, you know, 100% mentally ready, stable, all of those things. But it didn't make sense for me to try to force something.
Right.
And especially when it came to you, at that point, I had enough sense to know, like, no, you don't need to continue to, you know, damage this girl, like, not this one. And it was just better. It was better. But I mean, look, the benefits still happen with being a friend.
Yeah, we were definitely friends with benefits, like in every way.
Ooh.
You are nasty.
My bad.
So just to let's break down. Let's slightly backtrack, and let y'all know what kind of relationship that we have, because I think a lot of people want our relationship, but until you understand the intricacies of our relationship, and even after explaining it to y'all, it's not gonna make sense to some people that just they can't, you know, break that cognitive dissonance to make it make sense.
Right.
So at a core level, at the basic level of Brittany and Dorian, we are friends. Period and point blank. We are best friends. Like, we tell each other everything. We go everywhere together. We're those best friends. It's not because we're married, because if we didn't have rings and we didn't have a commitment, we probably would still be around each other every single day, all day, maybe not, you know, late at night, unless, you know, I was his friend with benefit that night. If not, it would be a one-night stand. But other than that, like, we're best friends. So that's the base, okay? Best friends. Then we're also very selfish, more so Bae than me. So the selfishness piece is important because that selfishness is why we're married. So
this is hilarious.
It's hilarious when you have to walk it out, because it's like, normal people wouldn't understand what we're saying. No, we're best friends that were extremely selfish and decided that it would be easier to get married than to have to deal with being best friends that potentially move to opposite sides of the world, having to have these in passing conversations like, oh, hey, it was great seeing you, or, oh, hey, how you doing? You know, and then you getting another partner, and then we have to explain like, no, this is just our friend. Yes, occasionally we kiss. We may stick and roll. Occasionally. You know, like, because that's how it was it not? In high school.
You kissed me.
Stop. In high school, every relationship we had, I am so sorry if you are an ex listening child. Listen, there was only one relationship that I had that I was not kissing you. And that was like the guy that I deemed my first love, which I grew up and realized that, no, it was not that. It was just excited reciprocation. But yeah, no, we kissed all throughout high school, which was insane. But moving on. Yeah, so we're best friends that are selfish and decided to get married because it was easier to not have to keep explaining to our partner at the time, like, hey, you know, there's this guy or there's this girl, and, you know, they're our best friend. And we need you to know that you will be up there, like in the top 5, but you're not going to be number 1. And that's kind of hard to tell somebody. And I think we both collectively came to that agreement after we got in our last relationship before we went off to college, because it was like, we were finally both single senior year. And it was like, yeah, I'm not willing to go into this again with someone else and be like, okay, so we got to do this explaining thing again. It was too complicated. And then, you know, I had guy friends that were also best friends, which I later found out had feelings. And I was like, oh, this is really awkward. So I have like a party of 4 guy friends, and, you know, 3 of them are head over heels, and I only want 1. And it started to get complicated. So we just ended up, you know, cutting everybody off and just keeping each other. Yeah. That's our story. That's our relationship.
I mean, when you sum it up like that,
I had to be blunt and honest, because that's just, I think that's what people admire about our relationship publicly is the chemistry that we have, but it's the friendship that you're admiring. It has nothing to do with our marriage. What you are admiring and what y'all love is our friendship, because we worked very, very hard to establish that friendship, because we knew that we had a chemistry, but we didn't know what that chemistry was exactly, if it was intimate or if it was just strictly friends. But we knew at the end of the day, like, no, I like him. Yeah. No, I like her. Like, you're cool. I can stick with you. You're cool.
Right. It was definitely this unspoken. We just had unspoken rules.
Yeah.
And this unspoken connection that I still don't understand it. I still don't know how we became like the best of friends. I still don't know how I slipped through all of the cracks of the candidates that she had.
Right.
Especially after, going through my dog season. So it had to be the friendship. It had to be the chemistry.
Yeah.
Because there's no other explaining it. Like, this is a very intelligent woman. She can stand on her own too. And for her to, still make these decisions that I was best for her to bring out, her best potential, even through all of the, disappointments and just everything that we went through in our early stages as a couple. She was able to see past that. And I need y'all to know as well, like, I did not stay, because I know it's a lot of people that be like, oh, yeah, most men do that. When y'all mess up, y'all be extra sorry and y'all want to, make it back. No, it had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with guilt. I will say for a season, I was asking myself and questioning myself, like, am I doing this out of guilt?
Yeah.
And it really came down to, no, like, I genuinely like being around this person.
Yeah.
This spirit, this individual, and it just happened to be this woman that, like, I loved at the same time. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is all checking off my check boxes. So let me dive in a little bit deeper, and then, that's how our marriage just blossomed and unfolded, and we got to get to the root of a lot of things and heal together. But before all of that, it was literally our friendship that took root.
Yeah.
And, okay, boom, I just remembered the word. So Myron Golden, y'all, if you've never heard of Myron Golden, one of my favorite speakers of our modern world. Go look up Myron Golden. But he talks about how a tree grows. So I'm gonna wrap all of this up. So a tree, when you think of a tree, nothing very special. You're just like, whatever, I drive past trees all the time.
Yeah.
But it's a very miraculous organism, because what it does is grow phototropic and gravitropic. And what that means is it grows down and up at the same time. And when you look at things in life, especially like a relationship, in order for it to blossom and see the light of day, it has to go down and take root. And that's where that gravitropic aspect of the tree comes in, because we went down. We went down. We went to the bellows and the depths of what a relationship can go to. And we probably went past that. We went to the core of the earth and saw hell itself.
I was about to say, we done knocked at Satan's door, okay?
Right.
You got a party? No, for real.
Right.
Oh, boy.
So we took root in the gravitropic phase of our life. And it's almost like a bamboo as well. A bamboo grows backwards about 3 to 5 years before it blossoms. So all of what you're seeing is the evolution of a gravitropic process of our relationship.
Yeah.
And that friendship took root in those depths, in those dark times of our lives. So what you see now is literally just us. We can't help but to be these people. We can't help but to fall back on our friendship when, things go wrong, when a hurricane comes and it blows the tree and the leaves are falling and stuff. That tree is fine.
Yeah.
Because if you look under it, like, it's 10 times bigger than what you see on the surface.
Correct.
And that's what we do. We stand on business because of all of the work that we put in with our friendship and how we really dialed into developing our chemistry.
Yeah. And I think that it's, first of all, thank you for that coach lesson. I love that.
Oh, of course. Gotcha.
Of course. We always got to bring Myron into it. Myron?
Myron?
Stay out of my head. This is what I'm talking about. You always in my head. But I think that it's so beautiful to hear a man talk about being friends with a woman, because you don't really hear that too much, because there's always a oh, now this is my girl, or now this is like my sister. Like, it's always a downplay, but it's like, no, I'm talking about her in the sense, like, I know she's my friend and I honor her for that.
Right.
And I think that I've always gravitated towards having male friends because I love the way that my male friends protect. I love the way that they show up. I love the way that they, just really pioneer the relationship. And I remember in college, for the very first time in my entire life, in my adult life, I should say, teenage to adult life, because I have had friends in high school that were guy friends that literally we established, like, I don't like you, you don't like me, let's keep this going. Yeah. Because there is a list of reasons why I don't like you. Number one, you're hideous. Oh, we're just friends, keep it strictly on the surface. But I had a friend in college who was an interesting influence, and we had a very interesting friendship dynamic. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Glenn.
Oh, okay.
Glenn was literally the most incredible guy friend that I had. Number one, he was Jamaican, but Glenn was such a great friend because he off the gate let it be known, like, yeah, he was like, you're weird. You have a shrine of this man. He's like, are y'all even dating? And I was like, no. And he's like, that's weird. Like, why are you being weird? And I was like, because I like him. Like, we was together. We came from high school. He was like, oh. Well, anyways, like, he was like, okay. And I remember my roommate questioning, like, okay, do y'all like each other? Because that was her boy toy for a very brief moment. And he was just like, no, like, this ain't that. I'm not with that. Like, she's weird. She got a shrine. It's never going to go past that. I can't unsee what I just 100% saw.
100% Jamaican.
Yeah, he was hilarious. But that was one of the guy friends that I had that, I genuinely miss our friendship because it was the first time that I felt like I have a guy friend that's just my guy friend. And he was very protective. He was very like, no, and I know that it was partly because he was also friends with Bae. And it was just like no, this is my friend, ain't nothing gonna happen. I had a few guy friends in college that were friends with me and Bae.
Yeah, I can vouch for like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That was like 100% valid.
Carlos was one. Carlos was a great friend too.
Ambo.
Carlos didn't play. Oh yeah. Ambo, we got great history with Ambo. Ambo is a trip.
Jagaius, like
Jagaius,
I had brothers out here protecting you.
Yeah, and that was I think that's one of the things that I genuinely love about when we share friends is that once everybody's on the same page and they understand the Brittany and Dorian dynamic, it's squashed.
Yeah,
like no, we're just friends, right? Like it. And once I'm in that category, I never have to look over my shoulder or worry about if we're gonna have a drunk night, will you ever take it there? They never take it there. And I can only say that for the guy side. Now, when we get to the female side, no. No. I don't care how many times my female friends in the past that have been around with my husband, there's only one, and that's the one that introduced us, Stephanie, that has literally been friends with us and never liked my husband, never batted an eyelash thinking that he was attractive. None of those things. I have yet to have a female friend that literally I do have maybe 2 or 3 that didn't cross that line that I'm aware of because they either had a partner or just, kept it in the back of their head and never expressed it out loud to me. But they never gave me no vibes like I like him or I find him attractive. But then I had some that were blatant in my face. And what was crazy about some of the friends that I had around my husband, even when we were married, they tried to act like, and even family, like females in my family were the worst. Because I'm like, first of all, y'all are psychotic to believe that this man is not going to tell me that you're making a pass on him. Like, what type of world do you think that we live in? We already told y'all we're friends. You know our history. So he's going to tell me and I'm going to tell him. Yep. So the amount of women that just didn't care from family, y'all, I'm talking about blood, like blood family, not like I'm just calling you my cousin because, I'm talking about legitimate family. Which is why my idea of family is very different. But the amount of women in my family and in my friend group that have hit on my husband are insane. So we don't necessarily include outside people in our marriage or have too many friends outside of our marriage. Like, because we've gone through all of the loopholes of friendships, we have literally created a standard for, okay, this is how we are going to govern our friendships outside of our marriage. And I think that a lot of couples don't establish that, which is when you start having narcs in your friend group.
Yep.
You don't have a system like, okay, we're going to only have friends that are friends with both of us. That means that they have to be married. You know, there's a guy friend for Bay and there's a female friend for me. We're all in alignment. Their marriage doesn't have to be exactly like ours as far as foundation or how it started, but they need to be level-headed. They need to be aware. You know, we have a list.
Yeah.
We have a checkbox list. And it's because we've endured friendships along the way from our relationship to our marriage that have shown us that, oh, people don't respect marriages anymore.
Mm-mm.
They don't respect chemistry. They don't respect the boundaries. And it's kind of made it difficult to have friendships outside of marriage, which is why we value our friendship so much. Because once you step outside of our friendship, it's like, y'all are weird. Like, I told you that we're married.
Unfortunately.
Like, why you trying to hit on my husband? Like, I know, you know, not too many people are fond of the government, but legally on government documentation, and you can go to the DeKalb County book, you know, the courthouse book and look it up. We're legally married. Fulton. Yeah, I need you to calm down. Like, we're governmentally legally married, and you're trying me. Like, I'm healed. I'm not that healed, though. I will knock your head off your shoulders over my man. And I just think that, you know, that's another piece of establishing your friendship with your partner. When you establish that and you create a nobody slips through the cracks boundary with your friendship first, because we know that there are friendship stealers that try to come in. Oh yeah, let's be friends. No. There's only room for two in this bus. There's only a two-seater. You can be friends, married friends. But as far as like that inside of our intimate spaces, we're still, you know, healing from that because we've had a lot of narcs come through.
Yeah.
But you got to establish like this very intimate connection within your friendship and then with your partner and then in your marriage. Like there has to be two different sets of boundaries for your friendship and your marriage with outside people and against each other. Because when y'all are having those hard conversations as friends, you know, y'all have to learn how to not take things so personal.
Yeah.
And that's when that boundary in your friendship comes into play with each other. Like, hey, we're not gonna go below the belt and call each other outside of our names.
Yeah.
Period. That's a boundary. Then when it comes to outside friends, okay, well, we're not going to share our marriage with our outside friends. Number one, you really don't know people like that. I don't care how, you know, close you are to your bestie, they still live an inside private life. And when I learned that, I think it was from Joe Dispenza, he was talking about the fact that people have many different lives. And there is a private life that everybody lives, whether you're married, single, gay, straight, you know, monkey, alien, everybody has a private life. And that's the life that they live inside their mind. That's the world that they only know. They only know they're insiders. It's just them and they never share it with somebody else. That's where your intentions live. And I feel like when you start dealing with outside people and you start sharing your marriage, you don't know how they're filtering that through their private lives, through their intentional mind. You never know. So they could be listening to it to strictly give you advice as a friend, or they could be giving you advice to eventually swoop into your marriage when they find a vulnerable patch and they make their move. Because that happened to Bay during high school. There was a girl who tried to break you and your girlfriend up.
Oh, man.
And she successfully did it and then slid into his DMs. And I'm like,
yeah, on some
wow.
catfish type stuff.
Yeah, it was insane. But again, that's when you didn't set those boundaries within the friendship group.
Right.
Now, granted, that was her friend, but it's still, she didn't set up those boundaries with her friend. And now you still friends with this girl who's literally been listening to you cry over this man. And she's just been taking notes on how she can do better than you, on how she can maneuver through better than you. And you just sitting there, you know, sharing your business, and the whole time this girl with motives is taking notes on how to swoop your man, and she did, because you didn't set up boundaries. You know, that's something that we learn in marriage. I think we learned that during marriage counseling, to, you know, leave and cleave, and not just in a sense of, you know, not depending on mommy and daddy anymore, but actually setting up boundaries. Like, no, we will not discuss our marriage with our parents.
Right.
That was a boundary that we set when we got married, like right before we got married, when we were going through counseling. It was like, nah, our parents can't be within our boundary and in our business, not because we didn't trust them, but because what our structure of marriage, what represented to us, was very different than what they built their marriage on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't give me advice from a club that you ain't a part of. You know, like, you're not in the same club as me. You're coming from a very indoctrinated mindset about marriage, and we're coming from a new age standpoint of marriage. And I think that that's where people need to kind of filter who you're talking to and who you're listening to, like, when it comes to the structure and relationship of your marriage.
Yeah. Man, you dropping bars.
I mean, listen, you talked about Myron Golden. I had to go in my personal development bank and just like.
All right, so
I'm
let's
smart
give him
too.
let's give him some practical ways that we practice our friendship, because you can practice your marriage all the time. Like, I
Yes.
find a lot of men, we try to improve our husbandship more than our friendships with our wives. And for me, practical ways looks like playing Uno with her.
I was just about to say that.
Just doing like just casual things. You'll be
Yeah.
surprised. It's like, wow, when you take that pressure off, you take the tape off, and you just drop that title.
Yeah.
How you just step in this new, almost childlike mentality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm around my friend. We're just making up games. Like,
Yeah.
we're just kicking it. You know,
Yeah.
y'all can fart around each other, burp around each other. Like, nobody's.
Do not fart around me.
Well, yeah, you gotta understand. Like, some things may cross the line.
I think, no, not even to be funny. I think the first time you like actually farted around me, I was like, we are there in our friendship. And then the first time I farted around you, I was like, okay, so now you know. And it was like, it wasn't even that long ago where we both just stared off at each other and farted at the same time. That was a laugh that I think came from the bellows of our stomach because we laughed so hard. And I'm like, this is childish. We are too grown and too tall to be this childish right now. And it was just, you gotta have fun. You gotta have fun with your partner.
Don't be so stuffy. Like,
Just think of when you had your opposite sex friend when you were kids. What does your inner child need in this moment? Do you want to play games? Do you want to go outside? Like, we take walks together. Sometimes we garden and walk. And sometimes we get on the bike. Like, we just ride the bikes, or we go exploring. We'll just start looking up random stuff, or, you know, we'll just have random off the wall conversations. And that, I think that is
include a little bit of spontaneity.
Yeah.
You got Chat GPT now. Type something in. What spontaneous free things can I do with my partner today?
Yeah.
Like, it does not have to be a lot. And we find ourselves just in conversation for 2-3 hours. Like, to be honest, if we really recorded all of the conversations that we had,
man, listen,
like,
movies.
Do you know how many podcast episodes we would have? My God.
We have, like, sometimes we'll be talking for so long and we don't even realize, like, we've been in the same place. It only felt like 5 minutes and it's been like 2 hours. Like, we watched the sun go from one side of the window to the other side. Like, how long has it been?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just, you know, we're a different kind of married couple.
Right. Play the question game with your partner.
Yeah.
Because that always evolves as well. A lot of people don't realize you'll learn a lot. Like, that conversation will turn after maybe like 2 or 3 questions. You'll start to realize, oh, we needed to have a talk.
Yeah.
It started off as a question game, but now we're healing.
Yeah.
We're laughing, we're crying. And it's those things that help build that trust with that partner. Because, you know, you walking all day, man, we walking around all day like, you know, we got to get this thing right. Or let me make sure I take out the trash and, you know, just be a little assertive in this area. Just take your cape off and, you know, just sit down, have a conversation, because you're thinking about all of the 10 million other things that she's not thinking about, and you just having a regular conversation can put her at so much peace, so much rest, and y'all can get so much resolve in your marriage, and you know, start to build this friendship that we're talking about, build that chemistry, because now y'all sharing that pain, that deep dark pain, because you created these safe spaces for one another. Yeah. And I think that that's what it really all comes down to is how safe are you with that person?
And it's not your adult person. It's how safe is your inner child with that person. That's when you know that you've established a friendship with your partner. Because I feel safe with Bae. Just sitting next to him, being in vicinity with him, just as a woman, a grown woman, I feel safe with him. I know that if another robber came or a robber came and tried to, you know, attack me, I know that as a grown man, he would step in for me. If it happened to another woman, he would step in for that woman. But when it comes to protecting my inner child, if he sees that his parents are saying something to me that, you know, he knows me well enough to know that my energy shifted without even looking at me or without even being in the same room. Like, I will give y'all a very specific story really quick. I think it was when I don't know if I was still pregnant with Autumn or it was right after I had her. And there was an altercation when we were living with my mom. And, you know, my mom, and I hate to paint pictures of people's character, but my mom is not one of those people that really needs to be triggered to be upset. She can just wake up and find a reason out of thin air to just be away about. And when we were living with her, that was her thing. She would find a reason to just be in an emotion that was very heightened, very aggressive for no reason. And in this particular instance, it was no different. She found a reason to just come and I'm making spaghetti, I'm minding my business. And then her husband comes in and adds to it. He doesn't know what's going on. He literally just walked into the house, saw that there was an altercation between me and his wife. And then he's my stepdad, by the way. And he just started going in and like in the conversation. I'm like, you weren't even invited to the table. Why are you here? Why are you causing more chaos? You know, it's not that serious. And right before the situation got escalated, my husband was already down the stairs. That Autumn was born because she was crying and you had to come and take her. Once you got her calmed down, you came back downstairs. And the way that you rectified the situation, because at that point, her husband was acting irate. And you were like, hey, not my wife. Calm down. I don't even know what this is about. This is not for us. And you had to talk to a grown man that was 2 to 3 times your age and tell him, hey, this is a conversation between 2 women. Stay out of it. And once you got that situation, he had to, you know, calm himself down and say, you're right. Right. You are right. But it was the way that he protected my inner child, because my whole life has been very violent in conversation. Like, I had 2 very type A, very loud, very aggressive New York and Caribbean. But my dad is Caribbean, but very aggressive, communicative parents that always barked and screamed for everything. I wish I was lying. Their communication on a daily basis was screaming. And to be in that moment and have somebody recognize, oh, no. You are now talking to her inner child, and I don't like that. Back off. You know, having him step in and protect my inner child, that's not, most men, when 2 women are arguing, they don't step in. And they just don't step in. But my husband, you know, saw that my inner child was experiencing a repeat circumstance, and now his kids are there and being affected by hearing and seeing all this. It was like, no, not only am I protecting my actual children, but I'm protecting the inner child within my wife. Like, you need to be removed from this, because I know that this is a constant thing that you've been dealing with all of your life. I don't want you to be dealing with postpartum because you just had a baby, dealing with your 2 kids asking you questions or crying because, you know, my kids were very in tune with me and my husband. So when we argued, they would cry. That's our family. Our family is different. We're very well connected, but you know, just that moment really sat with me all of these years, because I'm like, man, I never forgot, because I'm like, you protected my inner child, and from then it was like, I know I'm safe with him. And I think a lot of times people don't establish that inner child security and inner child fluidity between you and your partner and vice versa. And I feel like that's the difference between a good marriage and a great marriage, is when you understand that your adult partner was once a child. And when you start to get to the root of their child and you're able to see them as not necessarily treat them as a child, but see their inner child within them, you're able to start ministering, speaking life into, and loving that inner child. Because when you get to the root of who they are and they start being comfortable around you, like when you started being more comfortable around me because your inner boy was safe, oh my God, it changed the sex, it changed the conversations, it changed the dynamic, the energy, like it changed.
Only you get to see that side of me.
Oh, his inner child is so much fun, y'all. I laugh so hard because his inner child, like, you ever seen a 6'7" man go to being 2 feet tall? Child, he is a joy. You are a hoot.
A hoot. I knew it was coming.
It was. I was trying not to, but I couldn't help it. But I think that that's such a flex. Just being around your partner and seeing their inner child is so endearing.
Yeah.
It's so just like, you really feel safe.
Yeah, right. And now it makes it easier for me to parent as well.
Yes.
Because it's like, I understand you so much better to like see your reflection
in
a 5-year-old Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's just this fluid, just fluid.
Yeah.
And I'm able to even parent my son better because it's like now I understand me. Now I understand
Yeah.
why I behaved the way that I did at this point in time in my life.
Yeah.
So now it's like, man, I can beat you to the punch before you even go through this.
Correct.
Like, just listen to me, man.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, at least I know, like, I was able to find a root enough to put it out there.
Right.
And, you know, try to implement it in my son or give him some sound advice.
Leave the ball in his court.
Right.
Yeah. Because, you know, at the end of the day, your kids do have choices, but it's just comprehending like, hey, I'm giving you the truth. And if you choose to take it, that's on you. If you don't, that's fine. But I'm just telling you from experience of what I had to deal with in that circumstance. And I'm not saying that you're going to deal with the same thing because times are different.
Yeah.
However, I wish that I had a me when I was going through
Right.
it. So now I can share with you from your perspective because I'm in tune with my inner child to be able to go back there and be
Yeah.
like, what was my mindset at this age? Oh, okay, I can kidify it. Okay, bet. So don't do that.
Yep.
Like straight to it. Don't do that. Yeah, I think that that's important, and I think that's truly what really changed our marriage is when our inner children in the both of us, like our inner child, actually got to be friends.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we're back at the sandbox. Like we
Right.
have a sandbox friendship, and we didn't even know each other. Like we met at 14, you know. But it feels like I've known this man since I was like 6.
Yeah.
Like we're that
Some
fluid.
love and basketball type story.
Yes, we are. See, you hear that, guys? It's already been a movie. We can make it a real movie.
Right.
Cough, cough. Just saying. But it's like, you know, I thoroughly. I don't know. I know I say it to you often, but I don't know if I said it to you today. I thoroughly enjoy being with you. You're a lot of fun.
Thank you, baby. I
Like,
know that.
You're so much fun. And I truly believe that there was no other candidate that could have handled you. And not in
Vice
a
versa.
No, God, nobody. All the contenders out there that are, you know, still hoping, and I'm the girl that got away. I am the girl that got away. Okay, I am locked in with this man. So
Call it what it is.
period. If you was hoping, don't hope. This is not an avenue that you want to hope on. But I genuinely feel like no female could have handled you because you had to get past some things in order to get to you. And I think that they weren't willing to go through the friendship side of you because the friendship side of you was rough. It was rougher to be your friend than it was to be your wife. Because once I got to the side of being your wife, it was smooth sailing because at that point, once you committed to me, I knew, oh, I got him. Like,
Right.
that was it.
It took a lot for me to get there.
But the friendship, that was the audition period. It lasted a really long time.
Yeah.
Like, you were like, okay, let me test her. Record me real quick. So I need you to press this button. I need you to do this. So he put me through like little micro tests. Like, could I handle his music career? Yes. Could I handle his graphic design career? Yes. Could I handle his digital marketing career? Yes. Could I handle his MLM career? Yes. Could I handle his going to 9 to 5 career? Yes. Could I handle late nights until 4, 6 in the morning? Yes. Could I support him and hold the fort down while he had to do what he had to do to provide for the family? Yes. So as I started checking off all of these boxes and they were yes, it was like, oh, well, let's just get married now. Like, you've proven that you can be my friend and you can understand me without judging me. And I think that's the biggest thing for you is, can you understand me without judgment? And I think that's everybody. Can you understand me and look past my flaws in order to see me?
Yeah.
And I think that that's what makes a marriage so amazing is when you can, again, going back to that inner child, when you can see your partner.
Yeah.
That's a friendship. Like you can vouch to your friend and be like, my friend would never say that. My friend would
Right.
never do that. You got to say the same about your partner.
Yep.
And if you can't rightfully say, like, you know, to the core, like, even if it was a drunk night or there's a possibility that my husband could have said that, like, you have to know your partner. I know this man. I know if somebody came to me and said, well, your husband did this.
Right.
No, he didn't.
It would be the same.
I mean, he was at the club. That definitely wasn't my husband.
At the club.
At the club. Like, no, that wasn't my man. You got the wrong guy. And you're racist to think that all black tall men look the same. Okay, that's not
Right.
him. That's not him. But I just, I challenge you all that are listening, that are either in a relationship, marriage, engaged, desire to be in a relationship, I just challenge each of you to make a list of things that you want to know for certain about your partner. Make a list of requirements for your friendship. Before you even start making a list on he got to have a 6-figure salary, he has to have, a 700 to 800 credit score. Like before you get to what he needs to provide and do for you as your husband, you need to write a list of how he needs to show up and be your friend.
Right.
First and foremost, y'all be ready to get to the altar before you get to the dating phase.
Right.
That's the problem. Make a friendship list. What do you want your guy friend to possess? What qualities do you want your guy friend to possess? And men, same thing. What do you want your female friend to possess? Don't think about her body type. We're not there yet. If you want kids with this woman, her body type's gonna change. Her hips gonna widen. Her titties gonna sag. I'm sorry to tell you, them perky titties ain't gonna sit up until you go back to Dr. Miami. I'm just letting you know now. Okay? After 2 kids, her hips will never go back to being that small waist that you first saw. Just letting you know. Okay? She's always gonna be thick after that second kid. Now, Dr. Miami exists, but you need to come off of the image of your wife.
Right.
You need to start looking at my friend. What do you want your friend to do? Do you want her to listen to you? Do you want her to be sensitive or open and handle with care your feelings and your heart? Like, list these things. Do you want her to respect you coming from your feminine side? And not saying in a queer or, homophobic way, but in a I need a woman that's not going to call me soft or demasculate me when she sees me crying or when she sees me actually using the emotions that I'm allowed to use as a man. You need to make a friendship list for her. And females, you need to make a friendship list for him. And then find a friend first, because you got to find a friend.
Right.
You trying to find the end. You didn't even get through the chapters yet. You already on the last chapter.
Right.
Start with chapter 1. How can you get along? It's a get along list. Make a get along list.
Yeah.
And then after you found that friendship, now create requirements, that you want in a marriage based on the friendship that you've established. Because if they can master that, then it doesn't matter what you put on your marriage list or your husband list. If he values and she values your friendship list, presenting the husband and partner list ain't gonna be nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, I just have to adjust and add intimacy to the roles I'm already doing back.
Right.
That's nothing.
That's nothing. Yeah. It's those intangibles. That everybody really wants. We're really looking for fulfillment and satisfaction in the things that you can't go buy.
Yeah.
And everything out here like that people are looking for is so conditional.
It is.
That job that man has, that credit score he has,
right?
Those assets that he has can be gone tomorrow.
Right.
How is he treating you?
Correct.
What time? Can you trust him with sensitive information?
Right.
Those things matter.
Right.
The credit score ain't gonna be able to save you if you crying from a situation that he needs to protect you from.
Right. Because what if COVID happens again? Then y'all have to make knee-jerk decisions because now you'll have to go get credit because things are closed. He's not able to go to that job anymore because, it went digital. And the role that he's playing, he got laid off from because guess what? That job can't be digital. It has to be in office. So now he's out of a job.
Right.
You gonna divorce him now because he's out of the job? Because per your list, he has to have a job. He also messed up his credit because he had to now get out more loans to keep the house that y'all have. So you gonna divorce him now? Like, you gotta find a connection deeper than just what's on the surface because the surface can change. We are in the world right now and we are literally seeing how things are changing in our natural earthly core environment. Humans evolve and change too. Like, he can literally get in a car and be paralyzed. So you're not gonna be with him no more because he went from being 6'7" to now 5'2" because he's in a wheelchair.
Right.
Like, you gotta find something past the straw. Past the facade of who that person is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh man, this is good. This is one of my top.
This is your top 3.
Yeah.
Top
this is very
3.
important information.
It is.
Like, I want people to get to the root of how a relationship works. Like, I like the structure. I like systematic things.
Yes.
And friendship is definitely like one of the first things you need to establish before trying to establish a marriage.
Yes.
My God.
It makes it so much easier. Like, when you think about it, before you get to your real role at a job, you have to go through what? Training.
Yeah, that probation period.
You got to. So the probation period is not dating. It's not getting to know each other and going on dates. It's about establishing a friendship. Your first date needs to be at an arcade. Can you beat me in Pac-Man?
Right.
Yes or no? Can you beat me in Uno? Yes or no? We're about to go to this tournament, a Uno tournament. First question, can you play spades? That'd be the deal breaker for a lot of y'all, because I can't play spades. Okay.
Yeah,
Bay loves me, and I don't know how to play spades. Y'all can take my black card. I do not know how to play spades. I don't understand that high, big, low, ace, double. I don't even know the cards in a deck.
Oh, wow.
That's embarrassing.
Nah, maybe after like 2 or 3 runs, I can shake the rest off. I'm not the best partner right now, but I still remember.
I don't even know how to take score.
Oh, God.
I know how to spell spades. I got y'all on
They're
spelling.
called books, man, when you get a book.
Oh.
All right, so it's been real. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode.
I got y'all on Uno though. Goldfish, I got you.
Oh my God, grow up. See, this is why this is my best friend, because she keep me young. She keeps me like 10 and under.
Yeah, I can see you on that Monopoly though.
No, I'm straight. I'm gonna fall asleep. That is the longest, boring
It
game.
is. They messed us up in the 90s with that. That thing took like 40 years to do. It was worse than Jumanji. Anyways, we love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning into our shenanigans.
Yeah. Love y'all, tribe. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye.